Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm calling out one of the most toxic habits that's messing up modern relationships, friendships, and even workplaces. Giving ultimatums. Do this or I'm gone. Change or we're done. Like, who made you the emotional dictator? Let me know what you think, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get into it.
It's either the game or me, so pick.
And then she goes,
It's either the game or me, so pick.
If you have to give him an ultimatum to be with you or to marry you, to propose to you, that is an issue. Or if you have to break up with him to finally get him to step up, that is an issue. Because why is being with you not inspiring enough for him? Why is it when he has you, that is not good enough for him? That should really tell you how he feels about you.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Now is that women are being told, don't pressure a man. Make it easy for him. Go be easy with him. Men don't like to be no. Men grow when they're uncomfortable. Don't waste my time. You're either going to go left or right. Figure it out. And if you don't know right now, say you don't know, you're still trying to figure out, you need some time. But I don't agree with the whole like let things just flow, because you know what can happen? It could flow for 6 years. I think that's the biggest mistake we could make, is telling women to let things be for men when they're first starting to date. I think we should be very upfront as to what we want, what we need, what our wants are and needs are. And a man who's a man and who's ready to step up will go ahead and meet those needs, and he won't be scared of it.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Let's stop sugarcoating it. Ultimatums are not about communication, they're about control. It's not setting boundaries. It's emotional blackmail with a pretty Instagram filter. If you have to force someone to stay, to change, to act right, guess what? They don't really want to do it. You're just cornering them. And if someone only respects you when they're afraid of losing you, that's not love. That's fear. That's manipulation. That's insecurity. Period.
I've decided I'm giving my boyfriend an ultimatum. Call me crazy. Some of you guys think he's cheating on me. I told him, if you have something to tell me, if you have something to confess to me about how the earring I found in your car was there, come and tell me, and I'll find a way to forgive you, and we'll figure it out together. I told him I'll have my coffee and I'll be outside waiting for you. But if you don't show up, that means you have nothing to tell me. There is nothing going on. You didn't cheat. We're just perfect Chad. I told him, I promise you, I'm not gonna kill you. I need to know the truth. If he comes, we'll figure it out together. If he doesn't come, that means it's all in my head. I'm being delulu. But I swear to God, if you don't come and you are still lying to my face, you're gonna meet crazy Leah. I give an ultimatum. I'll be waiting outside. I'm gonna make him coffee too, in case he comes.
emotional damage.
Giving people an ultimatum while in a relationship almost feels like begging to me. Like, I shouldn't have to tell you, hey, I need you to act right and I need you to treat me right or else I'm gonna leave. Because that's almost equivalent to, hey, can you please act right? Can you please treat me right? Because I really don't want to leave this relationship and I really want this relationship to work. But I realize that it's unhealthy for me to continue to stay if you continue to treat me this way. So please, just please treat me the right way so I can stay in this relationship with you. Because realistically speaking, if you have a partner who's mistreating you and they're not showing up in the ways that you need them to in a relationship, you should already get to the point of leaving because you're recognizing and realizing that they are making a choice. It's not that they lack the capabilities to show up as a healthy partner. They're just refusing to by making a choice not to. And giving them the ultimatum, even though they already know what needs to be done, feels like begging in my personal opinion. And I refuse to beg anyone to love me the way I'm supposed to be loved. Especially if I'm giving my all and I'm getting nothing in return and nothing's being reciprocated. And I know some people out there use ultimatums almost like a threat. Like, hey, if you don't treat me right, then I'm going to leave because you should care enough about me that if I leave, you're no longer going to be with me. And that should be a big deal to you. But if it was a big deal to lose you, then do you think you would be at the point where you have to give the other person an ultimatum and tell them that there's a risk of losing you? No. Because they value your worth, they should treat you as such.
People drop ultimatums in relationships like it's nothing. Marry me by next year or I'm out. Stop talking to your friends or we're done. Post me or you're hiding something. Like if you got a forced commitment, then maybe you're not aligned. Maybe you're just not it for them. Why are you holding someone hostage emotionally? That's not power. That's desperation.
Am I the asshole for giving my boyfriend of 6 years an ultimatum? My boyfriend and I have been together for a little over 6 years now, since we were 18, and we've made some pretty big moves towards our future recently. Like putting a deposit down on our house and both getting promoted in our careers. We have been together for 6 years and we practically act like a married couple without the title. We share our finances, we go on family holidays together, and both of our families really love each other. To be completely honest, I have been getting kind of sick of my boyfriend tiptoeing around the idea of a proposal. But a little backstory on this, I asked him 2 years ago while I was in university when he thought that we were gonna get engaged, and he said when I finished university. But that was 2 years ago, and now he's been promising me for 2 years that he is going to propose. And now it's getting to the point where I just tell him I don't really care how it's done. I really just would like to be engaged, to be married within the year or so. He's constantly saying how he really wants to marry me and create a little family together and have a future together. But every single time I ask him what's stopping him, he just says that he doesn't know. I always thought that the whole nervousness around proposal was like not knowing how your spouse was going to respond, if they were going to say yes or say no. But at this point, I'm practically begging him for a proposal, so I'm pretty sure he knows that I'm going to say yes. So because of this, I have given him an ultimatum that he either proposes by the end of this year, or I just want to break up at this point. I really want to know what you guys think. Am I the asshole for giving my boyfriend of 6 years an ultimatum?
Are you wondering if you shouldn't have given them an ultimatum? Maybe you should have been more patient and given them more time. Was it the right thing to do to leave them? Let me tell you something. As long as you honored your feelings, listen very, very carefully. Too many women, and maybe men, give an ultimatum and it doesn't turn out the way that they wanted to, and they think that they gave it too soon. What they don't think about is the fact that they gave an ultimatum and that the other person said no or left means that they weren't interested in the first place. And if you didn't give that ultimatum, they would have just taken advantage of you in the long run. As long as you honored your feelings, you did the right thing. And whatever's meant to be will be, but in the meantime, you need to move on with your life and be proud of yourself.
Ultimatums are not necessarily toxic. First of all, I feel like the word toxic gets thrown around way too much. But in relationships, an ultimatum is not necessarily a bad thing. An ultimatum is essentially saying, I need this to change in this relationship between us, or I need you to meet this need in this relationship, or I need us to communicate in this way in this relationship, or I will no longer be able to be in this relationship. It sounds harsh, but that's really just a boundary in a relationship. I think the way that ultimatums will become toxic or can be manipulative are because people will use an ultimatum and use it as an empty threat or use it to manipulate the other person's behavior. So if you have to give an ultimatum in your relationship and express a need that you have, and if the other person does not meet that, it's your responsibility to follow through with that ultimatum or that boundary and leave the relationship, change the terms of the relationship, or do whatever you need to do. It's not okay to throw around, I'm going to leave you, threats as an ultimatum and then not follow through with them or, use them to manipulate someone else's behavior and threaten them into things that they don't want to do. Let me know what you think. I think that some words have become like dirty words, and an ultimatum is not necessarily a bad thing.
Okay, let's talk about this real quick. If you don't already follow me, my name is Hope and I talk on all things healthy dating, so give me a follow if you want. When you are expressing to your partner the reason why your relationship is not working and the reason why you guys are slowly drifting apart, being very clear in your communication and what needs to change is not an ultimatum. There were a lot of comments and people saying their boyfriends were saying, but this isn't fair. Okay, no, what's not fair is that I'm investing all of my time and my heart into a relationship and it's not being met with effort from you either. That's not fair. This approach is giving the other person to take a minute to mature and to own up and to take action and responsibility for what is not working. And if there's just a constant refusal and the response of you're just trying to change me, no, that is just the person not ready to own up and mature and to grow up. And for all of my ladies, I say this in so much love. There are also a lot of comments saying, I've done this about 4 or 5 times. Okay, no, you didn't do this 4 or 5 times because you're supposed to do it once. And if it continues to happen again, you have to leave. You have to set that boundary. I did another video a while back is that you teach people how to treat you. If you're coming to them and you're telling them all of this stuff, that if this happens again, then you're choosing to not have a relationship with me, but you continue to be in a relationship with them, you are teaching them that their behavior is still okay. You have that very serious conversation and they still do it. You need to remember that you are teaching them how to treat you by what you allow, what you reinforce, and what you stop. So take that how you want.
I gave my fiance the ultimatum when we were only dating for a month and a half because I knew whenever I met him that he was the one. At this time, we were both living at home with our parents. I just became a teacher. We were figuring out our lives. And when I'm having morning coffee and breakfast with your mother on a Sunday morning, make me your girlfriend. Which I thought was the plan one night when my fiance asked me to go get dinner and was like making me and hyping it all up. I was like, ooh, this is finally the time. So naturally, of course, I wore like a mini skirt and looked like super, super yummy. We go to do the wine tasting at Cooper's Hawk and then he starts to get sick. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Then he offers to get food and bring it home because he was so sick. And the more sick that he got, I was like, oh my gosh, he's actually not going to make me his girlfriend tonight. Like, I literally can't wait. I love this man. And then I did tell him in my dream that night that I did love him, but back to the story. So I had to take a break to go into the bathroom to do a little cry because I was like so emotional. I'm like, okay, man, you need to like bust her up. And the next day he could tell something was wrong. He's like, why are you off? Like something's wrong. And I'm like, okay, well, honestly, I thought that you were going to make me your girlfriend. Why'd you hype up that dinner for nothing? And he's like, honestly, I really just want to take it slow. When I was in psychology classes, blah, 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 blah. And I said, listen, if you don't want to make me your girlfriend, that's fine, but I'm going to find somebody who will because I am beautiful, confident, and at that time I was like, man, I know my worth. So I gave it to him, the ultimatum, because if you don't want to be with me, then I will find somebody that will. In 1 hour, this man did not respond to me. I was crying. I was like, oh my God, what did I just do? But at that point, I couldn't go back because I could not show him that I was being weak in the moment. After 1 hour of waiting for this man to respond to me, he finally sends me back a novel. And you will never guess what he says.
Hey. Here's some advice that nobody asked me for. Now, I hopped off the relationship advice train for a little bit, but we're going to hop right back on and talk about something that I absolutely cannot stand when it comes to relationships: ultimatums. Now, ultimatums are, ultimately, nothing more than a control tactic used to manipulate you into giving the other person what they want. And this can actually take a couple of different forms. So, let's get into it. Type 1, timeframes. Telling you that you have to make a decision by a specific time frame or they're done, or take this specific action by this time or they're done. And I actually know somebody who did this, who said that if them and their person did not get engaged by a certain time frame, that they were done and that they were moving on. What? And it doesn't always have to be something like a proposal. It can be, moving in together, if kids are involved, meeting the kids, or even just deciding to start the relationship in general. But when somebody is backing you into a corner to make a decision or take an action, instead of giving you the time to make sure you're making the right decision for you, all you're doing is making the right decision for them. Type 2, it's me or them. It is your friends or me. It is your family or me. And if somebody ever says either of these to you, all they are trying to do is isolate you so they can control you more. Even if there's like one person in your life that you do truly care about, and they're like, you need to get rid of them or I'm gone. At that point, it just becomes all about this person's insecurity and they really need to work on themselves. Number 3, your expectations are a deal breaker. Now, in every relationship, you should have a conversation about expectations, especially when it comes to the future. But once you've had these conversations, unless what somebody wants changes, there's really no need to bring it up again. And unfortunately, I have an example. Someone once told me, and I wish I was making this up, that if at any point in our relationship I wanted marriage, that was a deal breaker. Now, the funny thing is, whether we ever got married or not wasn't super important to me. All I cared about was spending the rest of my life with a person that I loved at the time. And they knew this. It was the way that they went about it. Trying to hammer into your head that the way that I want it to go is the way that it's going to go, or we're done, that's manipulative. Because again, a relationship is supposed to be a partnership.
Okay, ladies, at the moment, it doesn't make sense for men to get married, okay? It doesn't make sense. There's nothing in it for them. It's not beneficial for them to get married. They get nothing out of it. This is how they're thinking, okay? Why am I telling you this? Because you need to take control. You need to take control. You need to be in the driver's seat. This is your life, okay? I just posted a video of Nick Lachey and Vanessa Lachey's interview recently when Vanessa said that she actually gave Nick an ultimatum. All right, they'd been together for 5 years. She got to 30, realized there was no sign of him proposing. She gave that man an ultimatum. 6 months later, he proposed. Why am I telling you this, ladies? Because too many of you are wasting your time with these men who have no intention of proposing to you. Okay? Set those deadlines, give those ultimatums, and have outcomes as a woman. You are not here to waste time. Do not play small. This is your life. Take control.
Ultimatums are a demand for someone to make an immediate decision with only two choices. Some examples are, you need to choose between me and your mother. Or, I'm having a baby with or without you, so make up your mind. Or, I'm not engaged by this year, I'm leaving. Sounds fun, right? Ultimatums may seem like a shortcut to getting what you want without actually asking for what you need because you never actually said what you wanted. You only said what their limited options are. So instead, try stating your feelings using I statements. I feel like a second choice when you take your mother's side, and I'd like to figure out a way not to feel that way. Or, my clock is ticking and I'm freaking out that I may run out of time to have a baby. Can we talk about that? Or, I'm looking for a deeper commitment and I'm worried you're not on the same page as me. Is that true? By instead stating what you need and asking for them to help meet it, you open up dialogue instead of forcing an outcome. And an answer that may have been in your favor, but is now just a knee-jerk response to being cornered.
Look, stop giving ultimatums and stop accepting them. If someone's trying to force your hand, that's not love, that's pressure. Trust me, real connections don't need threats to survive. Speak your truth, set your standards, but don't become a tyrant in the process. If they want to stay, they will. If not, let them walk. Better to be alone than manipulated. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. I'll catch y'all on the next one.